My name is Noah Myers. I'm an assistant professor in the accounting department at UVU. And I'm going to show you just a few ways that I've found using Lucidchart for my classes, but also just for other service-related activities and just professionally, it's made my life quite a bit easier. So the first thing here is I'm on our Master of Accounting application committee. And so we determine who's going to get into the program, and we've had high demand, and we have a difficult kind of complicated process where it's becoming more complicated as we're trying to make sure we evaluate applicants. And we had before just some narrative description of how we would consider applicants to the program, which was hard sometimes to understand. So I turned it into something visual. I'm trying to practice what I preach here in class, where I use some flowcharts and data models and activity models. And so this is what I kind of have come up with. And this is a moving target. But what I found is if I put this up with our committee, I can put it up on the board and all of a sudden everyone's saying, well, that's not right. And we need to change this. And that's not really how it works, which is great. It's visual. And so we can see it instead of a block of text where you might read it and go, well, is that really how it is? We see it here. And it immediately prompts discussion. And so this is a really nice function. And I've tried to make this pretty just because it is something that we use quite often, but it doesn't ever have to be this pretty. And that's the nice thing about Lucidchart as well, is there's a lot of functionality here that you don't have to use. But if you do use it some, you can usually find something that might apply to your class. Another way I've used it is with a grad student. We're trying to build out an actual database that tracks some of our professional relations with professionals who come and hire at UVU, who might come visit our classes. And so what I've done here is work with this student. Neither of us really have the skills to build a database from scratch and code it up. But I do know quite a bit about how the database should look from a high-level perspective. And so this graduate student, is going around and interviewing others in our department, trying to say, what do we want to capture? What are the data points that matter, and creating them here in a data model, which then I haven't used this before, but I'm familiar with Lucidchart enough to know that you can export this data model. It will create the actual SQL statements that will create the database and just kind of grease the wheels for us there. So that's another functionality. In terms of teaching, so this is where I use it the most. As part of my class, Accounting Information Systems, we talk about data and how important it is to not only accounting, but almost any profession nowadays, especially in the business school. And how do we think about data? I'm trying to introduce the concept of relational databases. And in this case, just a basic database, kind of a sales database, including sales transactions with inventory, employees, and customers. And so we'll build this out in class, and I'll have everyone sign into Lucidchart. Everyone's kind of building this out before I put this up on the screen. And then the nice thing is I can have a student from class share their data model here by clicking this share button. And right here, if they go to join ID and turn that on, they get this 6-character code. I then click on lucid.app/join, open that up in a new window, and then I put that in, and immediately their data model pops up. They can still edit it, it's interactive. And so that way it makes the class much more interactive. We can go through their data model, pick at it a little bit, and then maybe bring up someone else's later on and just learn together that way. Instead of me just saying, okay, here's the answer, here's how you should do it. We talk about how did you do it? What are some ideas? And that, I think, improves the learning process quite a bit better for that class. So that's a few ways that I use Lucidchart in my both professional endeavors as well as teaching.